Why did you decide now was the time to move up to welterweight? I know we've talked about this for a very long time. They offered you the fight at UFC 300 with Leon Edwards. You couldn't do it at that time. Why was now the time to make this move?
Because right now it's the best time, you know. I was waiting for Sarukan because he have also very good win streak, and like people waiting for this fight. He was pulled out in the last fight, and I don't see some interesting fight in my division. That's why I will make decision to move up, because now they have new champion and a very good fighter, Jack Della Maddalena, and this fight make me training every day, make me wake up early morning.
In my opinion, there is no one in the lightweight division that's going to beat Islam outside of what anybody can, you know. Anybody can win, but on a decision, no one's going to beat him. No. Unless he decides he doesn't want to fight anymore and he goes and fights, whatever. But he's so hungry, he's so motivated. He's got goals, you know. He wants to be one of the greatest of all time.
Are you excited to get to see him sort of be able to do his thing at 170 finally?
Yeah, it's exciting for him to go for the legacy. He said, I want to come in and I want to do something where I can go after the welterweight title. This is before Bilal Muhammad was champion. Now it's coming through. I'm very happy for him because he's been wanting this opportunity from years back. If he's successful, that's exactly what he's going to get. He's going to put himself on the forefront as one of the greatest of all time, you know, and considered the 1, 2, or 3 in the top 3. You know, I don't know, but he's definitely on line.
Islam at 170, how does he do against JDM?
Islam at any weight does great. Islam's a big boy. He's going to settle into the 170 weight class fine. JDM is a freaking terror. His hands, his ability to go head and body. It's a tough fight for anybody, but I think Islam at 170, he's a hard puzzle to solve. He is a strangler. He is a strong dude, and his hands are getting much better. We've continued to see him improve over the years. I think Islam wins it at 170.
How do you think Islam does at welterweight?
Who knows? I heard he's not going to be any smaller than Jack come fight night. But 55 to 70, that's a little bit different than 35 to 45. But when your skill level is that high, as Islam's is, it'll be interesting if he goes in there and tries to shoot on Jack. Jack stuffs him and gets in his face. But Islam's striking is so underrated. Islam could put the hands on Jack too.
Oh my gosh. You have Islam Makhachev that went up north, right? To 170. And then you have Ilya Tapura from 45. He's going to go up to 55 to fight
Charles Oliveira.
I mean, Makhachev fought how many times at 55?
He defended it 4 times.
That's much more, you know what I mean? And he made weight, you know what I mean? So I think that's a smart move. When you go up, you know, you're going to try to build legacy. You're going to do certain things like that. And he's going to run like his cousin.
Islam moves on to 170. Do you think you can get that second title?
Yeah, he's big. He's a good-sized guy, and his skill set is the highest level to compete with anybody. It's not like he's going to be hugely undersized at 170. There's going to be some guys who are bigger than him for sure, but he's strong and solid. I think he'll fit in. He'll probably be the champ there.
Will Islam be undersized at 170 pounds?
You spent some time training with Islam in that camp. Would you welcome him to fight at 170 for champ status in this weight division?
No, I would never fight him. He's my brother, right? But like I said it a couple months ago where I said, I think he could literally go up to 185 and win the belt. People don't know how big he is and how strong he is and how talented he is. I think if he didn't have to cut weight, 185, he could still go out there and beat these guys. He's as big as these guys. I've seen Duplessis. I've seen Adesanya in person. And with Islam's set of skills, I think he could dominate a lot of these guys up there.
Double champ or disaster. Islam at 170, exposed. Moving up sounds like a cheat code. No brutal weight cut, more pop in the hands, a fresher gas tank. But the welterweight tax is real. Bigger frames, longer levers, heavier clinches, and jabs that feel like spears. Tonight we strip the hype to the bones and ask the only question that matters. When Islam moves to 170, what actually scales, what breaks, and where does the nightmare live? Here's the stakes in one line. If his pressure wrestling system scales, he becomes a 2-division problem. If it doesn't, he's trapped in the slow lane against hitters who only need one clean window. That fragile edge decides everything. At lightweight, the cut is a bill he's paid for years. Water out, glycogen drained, last day misery, then a frantic rehydration. At welterweight, that bill shrinks. A fresher brain usually means better durability. A happier cardiovascular system means steadier output deep into rounds 4 and 5. The upside is obvious. Sharper reactions, cleaner reads, fewer wobbles. But welterweights aren't just lightweights plus 10 pounds. They're different animals. Thicker hips in the clinch, denser underhooks, forearms like crowbars when they frame. Every lift, turn, and mat return costs a little more. You don't just need strength, you need positional economy because wasted effort burns your tank faster at 170. 3 questions decide everything before the fight even settles. First, does the first entry bite? If that opening takedown attempt even moves the opponent, forces the fence, squares the stance, makes the feet stick, the whole room changes. If it dies on contact, the striker's confidence spikes and the second shot gets harder. Second, does he win wrist control once they hit the mesh? If he handcuffs the near wrist and starts cycling mat returns, it's the same old movie you've seen for years. If the frames beat his head position, you're stuck pummeling 50-50 against a bigger back. Third, can he threaten without over-chasing? Welterweights punish naked level changes with knees, uppercuts, and guillotines that cling like bear traps. Shot selection matters more here than it ever did at 155. What absolutely scales is the chain wrestling into rides. It's not about the first shot, it's about the second and third effort. Run the pipe into outside trip, knee tap into back body lock, shelf the leg, and ride. That system is modular. It upgrades with repetition, not with body weight. The wrist ride, the so-called Dagestani handcuff, also travels. If he collapses shoulders to the mat and pins the hip, ride time arrives for free. And edge discipline scales too. He doesn't need to win wild exchanges. He needs to win edges. Fence step, head position, hip line. That travels up weight. What may not scale is pocket forgiveness. The margin for one clean counter shrinks at welterweight. A basic jab cross from a real 170-pounder can change the round. Mat returns get harder against thicker cores. Getting a man down is one job, keeping him there is the rent, and the snap on reactive doubles can fade if the speed gap narrows. Timing, not courage, becomes the currency. So what's the blueprint for double champ? Minute 1 matters. Feint high, choose space with the rear foot step, touch the body with the left to pull the guard, and make the striker swat at a ghost. First contact should be clinch before shot. Collar tie to underhook, underhook to head position to trip. Don't sprint entries from the logo until you've drawn the shell. On the fence, pin the lead foot outside theirs, ear to chest, forehead under chin, peel the posting hand. Flow between high crotch and outside leg lace. The goal isn't just down, it's shoulder line turned and hips stapled. If he harvests the wrist and collapses the elbow to the mat, he buys 30 seconds for free and 30 becomes 90 with mat returns. Damage isn't mandatory every second, progress is. Elbow when they build, hooks when they roll. Judges see labor and remember labor, and when you reset to striking, never reset in the pocket. Exit on angles, show the look again. Jab feint, level change, back to the fence. Repeat until the opponent hates standing tall. Now the disaster reel. Scenario A, the first layer is denied, the head pops up, and he comes into the pocket with his feet square. Welterweights carry knees for that exact moment. One clean knee doesn't need a follow-up, it just needs to be remembered by the judges. Scenario B, over-eager fence reach. He reaches for the hips, too naked, and gets cross-faced back to open space, where the striker can jab, pivot, and sting him at the end of the glove. Now every entry feels a mile long. Scenario C, the guillotine tax. It doesn't have to finish. A hard wrap makes you bail on the best position of the round, bail twice, and suddenly you're striking clean in the middle, exactly what the other corner begged for. Let's talk judges. People still argue like it's 2015. Control wins. Modern scoring leans damage first. Control matters because it enables damage, strikes, attempts, near subs. At 170, where single counters shake the cage, optics get louder. If he rides for a minute and lands one slicing elbow when the opponent builds, that's the bank. If he rides for a minute, touches air, and then eats a clean 3-piece on the break, that's a swing round. The fix is simple. Make the ride violent on the build. That's where damage hides. What must the striker do and why is it so hard? Never stand tall at the logo. Tall equals hips available. Bend your knees or pay rent. Jab the chest, not the head. You're not outspeeding reads, you're disrupting entries. On the fence, frame before you pummel. Forearm across the throat, eyes to the ceiling, hips back, then underhooks. If you pummel first, you donate the shoulder turn. In scrambles, build to a knee and turn the corner. Don't turtle flat. Don't gift 2 hooks. If he harvests your wrist, drop the far hip and kill the hand with your thigh. That's the blueprint. Everyone knows it. Doing it under pressure is another sport. Now the striking pattern no one talks about. Everyone screams wrestling, but the trap door is a striking sequence that that creates wrestling. He shows a southpaw look, flashes the left as if it's coming straight, then stutters the feet to step outside your lead foot. You square up to reset the angle, and that's the moment. He either drops to the hips or snaps a short left that doesn't have to knock you down. It just has to make you reach. Reaching gifts, underhooks. Underhooks, gift fence. Fence gifts time. The punch is the fuse, the takedown is the explosion. At 170, that pattern still works if his feet obey the rule. Throw to move, not to trade. Win territory, not moments. Cardio power, chin, the welterweight tax sheet. Less cut usually means steadier late rounds, but clinch reps against larger men add invisible oxygen debt. Pace management matters. Spike to secure, settle to cook. Power can feel heavier in short spaces when you're hydrated, but the job is position, not brawls. And while a hydrated brain is safer, welter shots are bigger. The plan must be simple. Never let the clean one land. That means footwork and exits cannot be lazy. Minute by minute, the danger windows look like this. Round 1, first 2 minutes, peak danger. The striker is freshest, trap counters are crisp, and entries get red without fatigue. This is where a knee or an uppercut can rewrite the script. Smother the round early, 30 seconds of fence control cools those ideas. Round 2 and 3 are swing territory. If he's banked control, the striker's confidence dips. If he hasn't, the opponent dares to step in combination. That's where a single clean break shot can steal optics. Exit smart. Rounds 4 and 5 are either Islam time or an empty tank. If the system is working, it's a ride to the cards or a late drown. If it failed early, he's now forced to strike tired against a man who hits bigger. That was never the plan. 3 finishing lanes exist at welterweight. Attrition TKO with short elbows when they build, and shoulder pressure under the jaw until the ref hates the picture. Snatch submissions, arm triangle off half guard when they turn to breathe, or a back take to rear naked choke when desperation scrambles gift the neck. And club and sub, the left hand stings on an exit, the opponent shells, level change to the hips, finish on the mat. And there are 3 ways the disaster hits the screen. Reactive knee at the logo when a level change lingers, a cage denial spiral where frames beat head position, and a late knockdown steals the decision, and a guillotine bailout that convinces judges you were in danger even when you weren't. What actually changes in camp and corner? One mantra: don't rush free space. The instructions should be fence, 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 ride, 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 damage on the build. If the corner asks for long combinations in open space, something went wrong. The perfect round sounds boring. Entry, wall, mat, ride, bell. The highlight lives inside that boredom. 1 elbow, 1 mat, return that breaks the spirit. Legacy math is simple. If it all clicks, we're talking a real run at double champ status. New belt, 2 weight classes controlled, a blueprint few can solve. If it doesn't, we're talking a ceiling. Elite, dangerous, but mortal when size and frames deny the system. That's not disrespect, that's physics. So, double champ or disaster? It isn't binary. It's a spectrum that tilts on the first 5 exchanges. If his entries touch the hips early and the fence cycle starts, he looks like himself at a heavier class. Control builds, damage appears in the grind, and decisions pile up. Or a late finish materializes when fatigue meets pressure. If those first exchanges get stonewalled, clean frames, stiff jabs, guillotine scares, then we're in coin flip territory where one welterweight moment flips the scoreboard. Here's the honest verdict. The system scales if he fights the right fight. Short bursts to secure, patient rides to score, exits on angles. Zero ego in the pocket. That path doesn't need knockouts. It needs obedience to the blueprint. Follow it, and double champ is real. Disobey it, and welterweight will remind you why it's called welter, because every mistake gets heavier. Your turn. Does the pressure scale, or does the size tax break the system? If you see the blueprint holding, say double. If you see the knee coming, say disaster. And if you want the full game plan versus counter game plan breakdown next, say blueprint, and we'll build it move by move.